Yo, what's up, YouTube? So I appreciate you guys, tuning in again. Today we're actually going to be doing the cooling mods for my 2013 NV Agusta F4. Reason why we're doing this is because F4s overheat all the time because the cooling systems just don't move coolant around like they need to. So we're going to replace the water pump with the Jet Prime, or as some know it, the Design Corsa water pump. We're going to do Samco silicone hoses, and then we're also going to do some engine ice. So the reason why is, these bikes just overheat way too easy because of, the coolant system not being efficient, as well as these bikes being super lean from the factory to pass emissions. So this is what I'm doing to remedy like my situation, and so have a lot of other people. You can also, buy ECU Studio or something like that, and you can flash the bike to, get rid of the lean map that it comes with, and put an actual custom map on it that'll actually, not make the bike overheat and not want it to kill itself. So like I said, I already bought ECU Studio. I've already done the flash. I'm gonna show you guys the flash process in another video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, the only other thing I know that you can do that I haven't done is you can buy the SBK radiator and oil cooler. HSBK sells it. I'm not sure if anyone else does, but I mean that's like $2,000 to $3,000 versus what I did, which was I spent like 800 something on the cooling mods themselves, and then like 300 or 400 on ECU Studio. Like these are just rough numbers, I can't really remember exactly, but it was in that ballpark. So I spent about anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,300 to keep this bike cool and flash it and get a better map on it. So I highly recommend you guys flash these bikes, even if you don't have anything like crazy done to the bike, just to fix the fueling and stuff. That way your bike's not running super lean, and you don't have any issues with it or anything like that. So without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump into the video, and I'm gonna shut my mouth now. So I got some engine ice to help keep this bike like as cool as possible, and then these are the clamps for the silicone hoses, and then these of course are the Samco silicone hoses that'll help keep this bike as cool as possible. Like that's what we're going for. And then of course we have the main one, which is this is the Jet Prime upgraded water pump for this bike. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera, but these propellers in here, they're a lot taller than the OEM one, which pretty much just helps move the coolant around, because these bikes get super hot, especially under like $5,000. They get super hot because the OEM propellers do not like move the coolant around like they need to in order to keep the bike cool. So pretty much unless you're above 5K RPMs, like you're pretty much gonna be
you know, burning. So we're gonna install this little boy right here to, you know, mitigate all that and hopefully keep this bike cooler. And then once I get the ECU studio, I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, reflash the bike and turn down the kick-on temp for the fans. That way this bike stays as cool as possible. I never have to worry about overheating or any of that, because, you know, sometimes I get stuck in, you know, stop and go traffic, and it is not fun on this bike. Like, you literally start burning and it's miserable. So hopefully all of this right here should help mitigate all of that, and let's go ahead and get to installing everything on the bike. Like, as you can see, I've already dumped out the old coolant. I let it drain overnight. I'll show you guys all the tools that you need, but just for, you know, what we're doing right now, you just need a ratchet with a 8mm. I just, you know, used a deep socket to make my life a little easier. All you need to do is just take out this bottom one right here, and that's the drain one. And then up here, you have the bleeder screw. So I just undid that one, and then of course I took the top off the radiator. So we'll go ahead, we'll finish, you know, taking all this stuff off, taking off all the hoses, and we'll start installing the upgraded water pump and silicone lines. All right, now that we got that off, there's another screw right here and another one down here that we're gonna have to take off. So got that one out. All right. There we go. Well, that took a little bit more persuasion than I thought, but it finally came out. All right, so I couldn't find like the pincers or whatever that they're called, and I couldn't find my other cutters, so I'm kind of just using what I have. I'm just using the needle nose that I have to take these off. So just, yeah, make sure you have everything you need before you start. But I mean, these come off pretty easy, so shouldn't be that much of a pain. All right, guys, so if you look at this angle, you can kind of see, like, you know, there's a huge gap between the impellers and the top of this lip right here. So like I said, below 5,000 RPM, this really doesn't do much. And then, like, if you just look at the fins, they're pretty small too. So that's why these bikes are notorious for, like, you know, overheating and stuff, because this right here, this is what causes that. So now I'm going to show you guys the Jet Prime one. And as you can see, the impellers are way thicker. They're a lot taller. Like, there's barely any room between, you know, the impellers and the top of the lip. So, and like I said, they're a lot thicker, and they also have this little design on them. I'm assuming that's to aid as well, like with the cooling. But yeah, very, very well designed from Jet Prime. You can pick this up at HSBK Racing or MyGP Racing. Both sites have it. They both also have the silicone hoses as well. As you guys can see, we have everything laid out right here. Got all the hoses, all the different size clamps, and then the pump itself. And as you can see, it already has, like, you know, 2 screws in it, and it has these 2 right here. Basically just so you can replace like everything. But as far as like the actual like cover, we're still using that OEM cover right there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, and now we're basically just gonna, you know, take stuff off as we go. All right guys, so it looks like this one is gonna be the first one that we switch out. I already have the clamps just on here loosely. It looks like it's gonna fit in like right here. So this is the one that's actually gonna connect to the water pump. So we'll go ahead and you know, slip the water pump on this end, and then we'll try to get this end on, or vice versa, whichever one is easier. All right, so this little band thing right here, this holds the quick shifter connector. It holds the quick shifter connector. I took that off, that way I was able to actually like move this to the side. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's another plug that I moved out the way. Oh, there it is. Yeah, like I just moved this up or whatever. That way I can try to get back here. This is gonna be the most difficult one to get to, but we'll make it work. All right guys, so I've got the first one on here, and this is the position that it needs to be in. Try to get it to focus real quick. But that's where you need to have the clamp. It needs to be facing down. That way you can get your ratchet in there. It is pretty difficult to do. What I found the easiest way was to actually slide the clamp back and just have it hanging. And then once you actually get it on there, you know, make sure the clamp is still like, you know, pretty loose. And then what you want to do is just kind of just feel around until you find the little bump from where the hose is supposed to go, like coming out of the engine. You want to find that and then put it slightly behind that, and then you can, like I said, position it like right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like right there where that little notch is. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, that's where you want it to be, like facing down. That way you can take your ratchet and go up underneath and tighten it down that way. Like I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you get this part right here as close as you can to resemble the one that came off. That way it slides in a lot easier, and you don't mess up the little metal bar that's inside. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw this on. It does have an O-ring on it, so, you know, obviously just that little bit of oil that's there, we'll just put that around the O-ring. We'll go ahead and slide this in, and we'll make sure we get the clamp for this. We'll slide the clamp up there, and then put the anodized part up in there, and then once again make sure the O-ring is lubed up, slide it in there, and then we can make adjustments from there. All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start tightening this up, this clamp, because once we push this back on, this right here actually goes in front of it, so we won't be able to actually tighten it down. So we're gonna have to tighten this down first, and then we can go ahead and push this on, and then move on to this part. And it looks like it's gonna have to face a little bit like cockeyed, but that's just how it is. Once again, 7 mil. We're just gonna start tightening it down. One more full spin. There we go. Now it's on there really good. Don't have to worry about nothing. Now we can go ahead and put these long bolts in. These are the ones that actually came with the kit. So I'm just gonna use these because they're newer. So I'm gonna be using the orange Loctite because it's made specifically for like, you know, vibrations, like keeping things locked in from heavy vibration. And with a bike, there's a lot of vibration. So we're gonna put this on the end of the threads. And I highly recommend you use this like if you swap out your exhaust, because that's what I did as well. When I did my BODIS install, I actually put this on the bolts that hold the exhaust in. And then, like I said, also applications like this, because the last thing you want is your cooling system anything in your cooling system to come loose, because that's just a bad day. So a little bit of Loctite on the end, just a little dab of it. Go ahead and just slide it in there. A little bit on the end. Alrighty. Now, this is tight too, so now we're gonna move on to installing this part, which this is just the cover for it. You can use the OEM one like I'm doing. I don't even know if they make an aftermarket one, but I mean, I'm sure you can get anything CNC machine nowadays, so. Alright. Now that we got that on there, once again, I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite, just a small amount for these because they're really small. Alright guys, I went ahead and threw these on and tightened them up real quick. I'm just gonna finish tightening these up, and that'll pretty much be it for this area. And also, I think I forgot to mention this, but there is a gasket on this. You know, just make sure you put something on it before you know, tighten this all the way down completely. And then also, don't forget to tighten down this 8 mil drain plug as well. Now that pretty much wraps up this area. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this bleeder screw back in. Or my bad, it's this one right here. This smaller one. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this back in up here. I think this one is an 8 mil as well. Yep, 8 mil. Now we're on the other side. Well, we're still on the same side, but like we're towards the front part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take these clamps off of all of these and then just swap everything out. So let's go ahead and get to it. This hose right here. This hose right here. All right, so now we got our hoses, and oh yeah, and we have this small one. This little small baby one is gonna go right there. bottom two on. I'm so glad that I got blue to kind of like offset everything here, because you know the bike is a majority red and silver, you know, silver wheels, and I think the blue, you know, kind of just sets it off a little bit and makes it kind of like stand out a little bit more, which is the effect I wanted to have. You know, I like to have everything kind of just like contrast each other, you know, in a good way. So, you know, I think they really complement each other very well. We're gonna take this one off, and then we're gonna go to the other side, and then we're gonna do the overflow tank. So let's go ahead and knock this one out real quick. This little hose that I was talking about earlier, the one that I said I wasn't gonna replace, I kind of just said screw it, and I'll just install all the hoses. So it's actually this hose right here up at the top, and it goes down right there. Like you can see the little clamp right there. But yeah, it is not easy to install that one at all. Basically, the easiest way to do it is, since it goes like this, to put the clamp on it before you install it, and then you're just gonna have to constantly take it on and off until you can get it to slide down where you need it. Or if you really want to, then you can just put the clamp on there like loose, and you can adjust it from there. But you're gonna need a 7 mil wrench, or the little ratchet wrench. The ratchet wrench would be like ideal. It's not too hard to get it on there. What I did was like I just kind of like pushed it back there, and since I had the clamp on it, I used the clamp, and I used the screwdriver to kind of just like basically like I pushed it back there, got it where I wanted. Then I took the flathead and I went through right here, and I kind of just used it to like, you know, push down on the hose a little bit. And then once it got on, I took the flathead and I came in through here, and I just used the actual clamp to like push it down on each side. We got everything on, and as you guys can see, I said everything is on nice and beautifully. Like I said, I'm so glad that I actually like chose blue instead of choosing the red to kind of make it, you know, stand out a little bit more. But now all we have left is those. So we're gonna hop over to the other side of the bike, and we're gonna go ahead and knock out the other side. As you can see, we have this hose right here, which is just the drain hose, like for the overflow, and then there's a hose right here, and then that one right there at the bottom actually comes up around the top and goes where the cap is. So those are going to be the ones we're replacing. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. went to Target and I just got some distilled water. We're gonna run that through the bike until everything is like, you know, clear again, just to get out all the old coolant and flush out the entire system. Because like when you're doing this hose right here, like where this feeds into, this right here on both sides is still gonna have coolant in it. So the best thing to do is to just go ahead and flush it a couple times, which I mean you're supposed to do anyway. And also, like, this will, you know, show if you have any issues. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fill it up. I'm going to start the bike and let it run until it gets up to operating temp, which for MVs is pretty much up until the little line. So it's like, I think it's 3 or 4 bars. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll show you guys on the dash. And then once it gets up to temp, we'll turn it off and we'll just let it cool down until it's completely cold again. And then we'll drain everything and just rinse and repeat until everything is cleared out of it. That's pretty much it for that install. I don't really have anything else really to add into the video, because I mean it's like I said, it's a pretty straightforward install. The only thing I will say is, you know, don't be dumb like me when you're doing the coolant flushing. Like, make sure the bike is cooled down a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, don't push it, just let it cool down, you know, for 30 minutes, 45, even an hour, because I tried to do it when it was too hot, and I don't know if it made a difference, but I pretty much ended up stripping the threads on the water pump. So I'm imagining that was one of the factors, you know, the heat. So don't be dumb like me, because then you're gonna have to tap the freaking water pump like I did, and you don't want to do that. It's already an expensive piece of jewelry to have, so you don't want to do that. Don't be like me. Just be patient. But yeah, I do have more videos coming for this bike. You guys see it coming really soon. It's gonna be a shorter video, so I can knock it out a lot easier. You guys will see. It's gonna be fun. All I'm gonna say is we're gonna be adding a little bit more, just a little bit more power, and playing with this bike a little bit, you know, make it a little bit more fun. But anyway, thank you guys for all the love and support. I appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comment section, you know, what I can do better, what you want to see more of, and you know, we'll try to push out, you know, those videos for you guys. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.